So let's talk about Bronco Offroadeo and some really important, winching information you need to know, especially if you're running a cable winch. So we'll be doing at the end of the episode is a little like how to unwind your cable winch and then re-spool it properly. But we had an amazing time. Let's first talk about our time at Bronco Offroadeo. We loved seeing all the different Broncos, getting to see all the different colors to make sure that, hey, what's our next Bronco gonna look like? And we also got to do stuff like this right here. So this was pretty cool. We really enjoyed it. Now there's some going over rocks. We're at Bronco Offroadeo, New Hampshire. So it was all about, some rocks in the woods. So a bit of rock crawling, a bit of rock scraping. Not quite as much mud as we would have loved, and we probably would be more into desert high speed. That's more our style, but let's check this out right here.
Nice and slow.
And why is the two-door more capable, the model I originally wanted?
It's more shorter, so you cannot be stuck
Nice and slow.
on the rock to set the tires.
Stop.
You see that?
Slid a little. Let me just see what happens. Okay, so we are touching on the frame and that slide didn't help us. So what the heck, Charles? Just kidding. So what we're gonna do here, okay, and you kind of saw me preparing for it, is I can move a couple of rocks, wedge them underneath the tires. In this case, I'm gonna do the back, so that as we roll forward, they're gonna roll up onto the rocks, help lift us up a little bit, and get us from scraping a bunch of stuff underneath. It's still gonna make some not fun noises, but that's okay. So, Charles, foot firmly on the brake, please. And
Now at this point,
slow.
if you're wondering, why am I showing you all this
Gonna make a
gut-wrenching,
couple of scraping noises.
frame scratching, off-road
bit.
noises? Well, I really want to help you figure out if going
Yeah.
to Bronco Offroadeo is right
Stop
for
right there.
you. Now, of course, this is New Hampshire, so it's in the woods, it's in a bit of mud, a whole lot of rock. It's extremely technical. It's technical driving, so you really got to find your line, figure out, what's going to cause you to, really scrape the bottom or not. Now, there is no places where we would have, rolled over, but definite places where we could have done body damage to the vehicle. So there was that element of adrenaline.
And I was also
Now, of course, this location is about low-speed technical. So if that's not for you, this isn't for you, mind you. I did really find the instructions really fantastic. Relearning or rehearing about, button use. Some of it was redundant, but I learned some, interesting things as well. A lot where I learned was more about the technical driving, about pushing the vehicle to its limits, really getting it up, turned over on its side, and finding out that the Bronco has incredible limits. It's fantastic. So that was a big part. In the past, we weren't driving this Bronco, anywhere near its limits, and we were wondering, where are its limits? And you'll find out where the limits of the Bronco are at the Bronco Offroadeo, not in your Bronco, in Ford's Bronco. So that is really very A-okay for us. That's, we would have preferred pedal to the metal, but this was a great learning experience. So if you're a regular off-roader and you're doing stuff like this on a regular basis, well, this is really just going to be maybe a bit of a slow course. But what is neat is they do encourage you to learn to use your Bronco without touching any of the hero buttons. So you're not using any of the hero buttons, and then of course when things get really sticky and you're in trouble, well then they teach you what buttons to use. They teach you about rocks that slide out from underneath you, approach, brake over, departure angles, and they're there for you the whole time, make you feel good and safe.
Okay, so for what we just did, it's fun because John didn't need it to touch any button. We just did it on the rock straight without touching any bottom. It went well. We didn't have a Sasquatch package like he has on the Cactus Jack, and it's fun because they wanted to show us that we can do that without touching the bottoms. Because at first John put the roll bar disconnect, but he said no, try it without it. So that's fun because Ford is like they want to show us what the beast can do, and no Sasquatch needed. So
yeah, it's neat. Ford wants to show us that we don't have to spend a ton of money and get a Sasquatch or a Sasquatch Badlands, the most expensive option other than a Raptor. So we didn't use that stabilizer bar disconnect, we didn't lock any diffs whatsoever, and we got over that obstacle course. So really cool that at the Bronco Offroadeo, they take the time to show us that you don't have to be a millionaire to go off-roading, which is cool because the Sasquatch package is coming in. Their factory's now building a whole lot more Sasquatch Broncos, but it is cool that they take the time. It's like reverse marketing. Anyways, you said something I definitely like, honey, and you said it's best on the rocks. That's not true. That's true for off-roading, but not just off-roading, it's also the best for Scotch. So good tip, honey, good tip.
So remember, side tilting is going to want to make you feel like turning up the hill, and we'd want to keep those tires nice and straight best we can.
That was close. Yeah, real close to that stump.
oh, it's like
Straighten the wheel. And pull up nice and close to him up there. Okay, next one, come on up.
Ooh, that stump was worrisome to eat the paint. Oh, I got pulled into it.
It's okay, I was going to slide you in there anyway. Good, keep that pace.
well.
Keep it. Keep moving. Straight up, good, nice and easy, but still moving, good, nice, all the way up.
It's the size of my
horn.
I hit the horn. It's the size of my forearm because I did have
Turn a little
both
faster.
hands on the steering wheel. Thumbs up. I wasn't breaking any rules. What do you think of my horn hitting?
The instructor said to you before we were going that if you hit the horn, they will call you because they don't want you to cross the hand and hit the horn if you.
But I wasn't gangster driving. I was using both hands.
Yeah, but you're supposed to have one who stay there and the other one who's doing that with the steering wheel. So you cross the arm and hit.
And our trip
the horn.
On our trip to Florida, you figured it would happen to me because
I knew you will be the first one of the gang to do that because in the trip in Florida and at Outer Banks you were always hitting the horn with your chest, with your arms as soon as we hit a bump. So I'm not surprised at all.
So I've embarrassed you.
No, but I should have said, oh, I bet you $100 you will do it because for sure I was winning.
Yellow Bronco, you can go ahead.
Now it's our turn.
Once you've made it down the hill and you've caught up to everybody, as the vehicle in front of you starts rolling, go ahead and copy their line, so which way they went on the trail, and you can keep rolling as well. Just be nice and slow coming over that crest.
Oh, it's gonna get hairy. Pedal to the metal for the brake pedal.
Oh, that's a big rock there on your side.
Yeah. This is challenging, fun terrain. It's challenging enough to be fun without ruining my underwear. I have a bathing suit underneath, and we got this in Florida. I don't want this bathing suit ruined. So far, so good. But this is a ton of fun.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that in the camera, but it's...
Straight down.
Yeah, it's impressive. Way down. That's a good thing we learned to do stuff here before doing that at home alone.
Marie brings up a really great point. You don't want to be doing any of this alone. You want to go out in your own Bronco that costs you, let's say, $50,000 roughly, and, you know, get stuck. So bring a friend. That's why even when I go, you know, four-wheeling, I bring a friend to go goof off. And of course, I do goof off quite a bit more in a $15,000 machine than in Canadian, than in, you know, a $72,000 Canadian machine. But you will probably need a winch. If you do go alone, you at least want a winch. If you're going you know, with others, you can just bring tow ropes and cables, but hey, you need a winch. So winching properly is unbelievably important, and a lot of people forget that when you're, after you've, you know, winched yourself out of a situation, they just let loose and they just crank back in that winch. Now, we're really careful. Thankfully, you know, if you've re-spooled your winch improperly when you're really stuck in a situation like this, you're not going to get your cable out. So you really need to plan ahead. One, when you know, winch in, when you bring back the cable, you want to have resistance the whole time. Otherwise, it's going to buckle up and, you know, fold over itself and get stuck in the spool. So regularly check out your winch. There's a little side plug right here on the winches, a little turn, rotating actuator. So it basically it declamps the rope or the cable, and you can let it completely out. Let it out with some resistance. So and, you know, of course, because you're gonna be pulling on it, but then, you know, attach to something and have your vehicle brought back in with, you know, the weight of the vehicle, creating your resistance and making sure that it spools up nicely. Now, I did a little bit of left and right as I spooled it in. I didn't want to just spool it all down the middle. Some people do prefer that, you know, read up, figure out what works best for you, but my cable was ready to unspool when I needed it, and that's because I didn't just spool it back with no resistance. So super important when you're off-roading, and when you're off-roading, trail etiquette is super important as well.
Turn on one or both of those locking differentials so that we don't get stuck in that same spot and spin tires and dig holes in my trail.
Yeah, we definitely don't. We want to tread lightly, not ruin the trail.
Wow.
I had got to watch two other people do it. It's a lot easier when you've been watching people do it. And I locked the rear diff, so.
Yeah, the back was sliding. Okay,
let's not call it
for
cheating.
that tree.
Oh yeah, that tree likes us. Look at that.
Yeah, we're fine now. Oh, watch out for the one.
Evans, Trevor's rock, Terry's rock.
Yeah. The orange flag.
Yeah.
We don't want to be the person that didn't listen and hit the flag.
Always the person who listens. Come on.
No, you hit the horn.
Don't like turning, so they're going to put you wide.
Yeah.
You might need to turn those on and
You
off.
hit the horn before, you didn't listen.
It's getting shaky.
They will call
here.
it after you. It will be Johnny's horn.
There'll be no Johnny's rock or Johnny's horn or.
Just a Johnny's horn. It's better than the rock.
Oh yeah, when I hit the horn. Fair, yes. There'll be Johnny's horn. Yeah,
Johnny's horn.
on the rock climb section. I think you're gonna have to take over the steering wheel. All this taunting you're doing. I think it's time you show me what you got.
I'm so happy it's not me who drives right now. Because with the trees, I will just freeze and stay there forever.
Yeah, you'll just take out dinner, take out the picnic.
At the very bottom of the hill where it kind of flattens out.
We'll let them get ahead.
There's a sharp turn.
Oh, do I see? Oh yeah, it's a trap of water there. Is it
it
that?
For that turn.
There's a water trap. You will definitely switch and you're gonna drive it.
Oh no, it's not water. Okay, it's just mud. But I was thinking it was like a lake. Can't wait to see what's there.
Did you know I could have patience? Look how nice and slow I'm driving.
You have patience only when it's cars.
That's true. I have a lot of patience when it's cars. I can wait a very long time for a Maverick. I waited a long time for my Bronco.
Yeah.
Car length.
And you have the patience to learn all the spec of each car. So that's a big patience.
Yes, that's true. And you know, if I do ever get to have Wild Track, that's green, and has the Haas 3.0 suspension. I will probably have to wait a very long time to have that. So, and I can be patient for it. That Haas 3.0 suspension with the beefed up tie rods and steering, I believe it's the steering wheel column as well, is very, very tempting. You know, beefed up Fox shocks, bypass cylinder, bypass cylinders on it are beefed up as well. So really look forward to at least trying that out, and hopefully I can get my hands on one. But Broncos are not easy to get your hands on, so why not go to the Bronco Offroadeo? I would say this is a 10 out of 10 experience. Marie, would you say the same thing?
Yes, totally. You need to do that once. It's very great, and to have the instructor who says give us the direction and tips, it's so nice.
We're learning all sorts of stuff. It's really great.
Yeah, doing that alone could be very difficult.
So you can set up wide coming into it.
I've gone very wide here.
And kind of cut across the inside of
The tree. Backing up. We're in the trees.
Back it up, baby.
a little bit. That should be good. As you roll forward, turning all the way, all the way, all the way.
All the way, because there's another tree. It's close. Oh, he says you're good.
Yeah, we did it, made it by an inch. Look at
The
that.
mirror was so close.
Thank you, Evan. That was incredible. I really appreciate your spotting.
Of course, man.
It's so cool. Very rad.
Everybody's doing awesome.
Okay, so we've got one pedal on, so we only have to use the gas.
Checking your mirror for your side.
Yeah, also watching his hand signals.
So Aaron, just so you know, moving the first car a little bit further ahead so we got room to get everybody down. So I'll be right back in a second. If there's a little bit of a backup, that's why. Hold that line and keep coming down. You're gonna come right down off of that rock?
That was cool. Hun, we're on a section they said is pretty much what you could say black diamond. Do you want to drive?
No, not at all. I prefer to be the passenger on that.
Yeah, between mud, sand, and this rock crawl with trees all over, I would definitely.
All right, we're gonna keep rolling again. So
What do you prefer?
I definitely prefer the mud because with the rocks we need to be slowly, and it's fun to do that once, but I'm not patient as I was thinking I was. So in the mud, going fast, and not that fast, but a little bit fast, and have something that splash everywhere, and be covered in mud after the journey, and wash the car, to me could be the best experience of off-roading. But I'm pretty happy to did that today with the rocks, the trees, because it's a thing that you want to do once in a while, but I see it's not for me.
Not with your Bronco, and it would be different too if there were no trees. If it was just the rocks, it'd be a lot easier and a lot less stressful.
And with us, our Bronco, so much stress. So it's fun to do that with somebody else Bronco.
Yeah, the Bronco Offroadeo is fantastic because it's not your Bronco. It's Ford's Bronco.
Yeah.
And this has 455 miles of off-road. So, well, probably 50 miles to get here or so, but it's got close to 400 miles of doing just this.
Now turn it back down.
Yeah, that's a fun event because it's the kind of parkour you cannot find every day in your city.
You're going over that granite slab. Do it nice and slow as you make
So Marie really sums it up really well. if you're just used to city driving, this is a must-do event. You have to do the Bronco Offroadeo. It's really going to help you learn about your Bronco, about its technology, what it can do, what it can do for you, what kind of fun it can bring for you, because it's sad to buy this and just only ever take it to the mall. And if you do, that's fine. There's no judgment on my part. You're just missing out on a huge amount of fun. Now, if you do go off-roading regularly, I mean, at least 10 weekends a year, you're gonna find this slow, and I wouldn't recommend it because you're gonna be waiting in line, you could say, to go over obstacles. And when they're giving you explanations about how to get over obstacles and what to wait for, you're gonna find those parts maybe a little long. But even so, we still found that there's enough sections that really had the heart pumping. This was an adrenaline-packed day. I would have wished that their high-speed section was more than 20 miles per hour. It was a little slow. I do a lot more than that going through, woods, and back roads. But then again, the trees were awfully close on this trail, which was part of the whole exciting experience. You can see the Bronco in front of us just barely drive by that tree. There's barely more space than the Bronco on these trails. These trails were specifically made to be tight and exciting, so highly recommend it. Hope you do follow our advice on the winch, and do really hope you get to hit the trails and see what your Bronco is capable of on Ford's back. If you have bought a Bronco Sport Badlands or any Bronco, the big Bronco, if you've bought any big Bronco, this is a free event for the driver. Now, of course, there is a cost associated with bringing, your partner. I brought Marie, and there was a cost associated, and we were 7 hours away. But even though we did a total of 7 to 8 hours on the road, it was worth it. This was not to be missed out on. And even though, an hour away, I've got my parents' woods where it's only this, I'm still happy I got to do this with a really cool group of people and amazing instructors. And it does feel great doing it when it's not your Bronco. It really helps you go, beyond what you normally do, and then you really know where are the limits of the Bronco, so that I don't cross them with my own Bronco. And I hope this has been helpful. If so, please do like and subscribe. It helps feed that poodle. Take care, y'all. And a special thank you to our members and for those that help share the video. It really helps get the word out. Like I said, we really do hope that this video has been helpful, but I gotta cut it out here because we've got a 60th birthday pool party to go celebrate. So we'll be having a little bit of fun. We do wish you all more cars and more power. Now, we've been fortunate enough to have about 70 vehicles now, and it's been a lot of fun and gives us a bit of background. So we do hope that you continue to join us for our adventures. So here's wishing you more cars and more power. What? You're still here? Awesome. Very rad. So we need to know, who's the better driver? Mr. Pedal to the Metal, just flinging his Bronco all over the place like I am here in the snow. I really do like to go fast. I like to take jumps with my Bronco in fields like I did early on in my first video when I had this, as soon as it hit 1,000 miles. I like to try new things, see what I can do. I definitely don't want to full send and completely break it, but I do have to tell Marie-Pierre once in a while to buckle up. Or, please leave a comment. Do you think Marie's a better driver and how she's slow and steady? Mind you, that got her stuck in North Carolina. Well, stuck. We just had to back out of the hole she was digging. Had I not said anything, though, she was going down for the 1, 2, 3 count. With a little bit of coaching, and I had to tell her, hon, you need to go a little faster to get over certain obstacles. She got right through it. So please do leave a comment and share the content. It helps our community grow. Take care.